Bonjour. Aujourd'hui, on va apprendre les couleurs. Hi, today we're going to learn the colors en français, in French. It'll be very easy and quick. Yellow, jaune. Jaune. Pink, rose. Rose. Red, rouge. Rouge. Blue, bleu. Bleu. Green, vert. Vert. Gray, gris. Gris. Black, noir. Noir. Purple sounds more like violet. 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 White, blanc. Blanc. Orange, orange. Orange. Brown, marron. Marron. And that's it. Except not really. In French, everything has a gender, so the colors you just learned will work for the masculine form. When you're talking about something that begins with un or le, un is masculine, le is the masculine, you would use the colors we just did. However, if what you're talking about is feminine, meaning to say a, you use une, and to say the, you use la. It also probably will end with an e, not all the time. So you sort of do the same thing with the colors. You're going to add an e onto the end of the color if it doesn't already end with an e. If it already ended with an e, like yellow, jaune, and pink, rose, and red, rouge, you don't have to change it. So for blue, we're going to add an e. It's still going to sound like bleu. For green, we're going to add an e. And now instead of vert, it's verte. For gray, we'll add an e. Instead of gris, it is grise. Grise. For noir, we add an e, but you still hear the r, noir. So it sounds the same. For violet, purple, we add a te. So now it goes from being violet to violette. Violette. For white, another unique one, we add he. So we go from saying blanc to blanche. Blanche. Orange is super special. You are never going to change it. It's always orange. You don't add an e. For marron, also super special. It doesn't end with an e, but you're still not going to add one. When you're talking about brown, it will always be marron. So now we're done. Except not really. Okay, what about plurals? You're talking about more than one thing. So now, instead of saying un or une, you would be saying des, some, or you might be saying les, the. So for yellow, it always has the e. When we're talking about more than one thing, we're just going to add an s, and it's still going to sound like jaune, because s is silent. Same thing for pink, rose. Same thing for rouge, red, rouge. For blue, if it's masculine, remember there's no e at the end. You add an s if you're talking about more than one thing, bleu. If it's feminine, you add the e, and then you'll add an s if you're talking about more than one thing. Still sounds like bleu. So it's easy, right? For green, remember, masculine, there's no e, vert. You add the s, still sounds like vert. For green, plural, feminine, remember, you add an e, and now you add an s because you're talking about more than one thing. It will sound like verte. So again, the s is silent, but the masculine will sound like vert, the masculine singular, and the feminine plural will sound like the feminine singular, verte. For gray, you are going to use the same as when you're talking about one thing. So remember, one masculine thing was gris. One or more than one is still gris. Now for the feminine, you added an E and it became gris. So for the feminine plural, you are going to add an S and it'll be gris. For black, noir, you add an S, still sounds like noir. For more than one feminine thing, you have the E and then you add the S, noir. Still sounds the same. For purple, the masculine, remember you just had the one T at the end, so now you add an S. Still sounds like violet. S is silent. S is silent. For feminine plural, you have the two T's, E. Now you add an S, violette. S is silent, so still sounds like violet. Blanc, you add an S, still sounds like blanc. Très bien, very good. The feminine was blanche. You add an S, it still sounds like blanche. Très bien, very good. Orange, you don't do anything. Orange is super special. So it's always orange, whether you're talking about one or more than one thing, or a feminine thing or a masculine thing. And the same rule applies with brown, marron. So now you have learned all the colors and how to make it match or agree with the number and gender in French. Congratulations. Félicitations. Et bonne journée and have a good day.